Hello. Hi, my name is Christina, and I am doing an assignment, a video assignment on who shall we invite to our guest speaker series for class for digital narratives. And I wanted to answer the question. I would love to have the author Stephen King as a guest speaker for this class, because I've always found his books to be great reading, sometimes in a sick sort of way, and his stories have always translated very well into film or TV miniseries, that sort of thing. His books are full of suspense, mystery, fantasy, science fiction, horror, and at times nightmarish fantasy. Really creepy stories, some of them. Um, I began reading his books in my senior year in high school, and I remember how my stomach would get knots and my heart would race while reading his books. And I would sometimes read some of his books and found myself unable to put the book down. Some of my favorite books are Christine, Carrie, Pet Cemetery, Firestarter, It, The Shining, Cujo, The Dead Zone, and Dreamcatcher, all of which were turned into a film or TV movie or TV miniseries. And then while some would say that books are better than movies, in Stephen King's case, both are pretty good. Um, Other films I have seen, but I haven't read the book, but I've seen his movies, and these movies were pretty good too. The Green Mile, The Shawshank Redemption, The Stand, Misery, The Langoliers, The Tommyknockers, Thinner, and The Secret Window. Now, he's been writing stories since the late 60s, I read, and his first book was Carrie, which was published in 1974. So, considering his long list of books and his amazing characters, I'd like to ask Stephen King what his creative process is when writing his stories, because it is apparent that he has a great imagination, bordering on the creepy. Some of his characters have supernatural powers, and others seem ordinary until faced with extraordinary situations. Like it, in the story it's an evil supernatural force that murders little children and masquerades as a circus clown named Pennywise, played by Tim Curry from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that was really creepy, and it would hide in the sewers of the city. Um, Very scary. Um, Christine is about a car being possessed with supernatural powers, and it has murderous tendencies. So when its owner starts fixing up the car, because he bought it, from someone, and he's fixing up the car, he becomes almost obsessed with his car, and then he meets a girl. Because of the car, he started, I guess people started seeing him differently, and because he was in fact a nerdy type. And when people started seeing him differently because of his vehicle, he had a girlfriend and they were getting a little too close. So the car actually gets mad, is very mad, and tries to get in between him, the owner, and his relationships. That's creepy. Another story is Carrie. It's about a young girl with an ultra religious mother who regularly gets picked on at school. And when she finally gets her period, she thinks she's bleeding to death. To the delight of her bullies, they they ragged on her. And by the end of the movie, Carrie gets back at her mother and her bullies using her newly discovered telekinetic powers. In Misery is about a writer who gets kidnapped by his biggest fan, and when he gets into a car accident, a nurse comes to help him during his recovery, and he finds out what a fan she is of his books. And while he's recovering, she reads his latest manuscript, which hasn't been sent to the agent, and she finds out that he plans to kill off the main character in the series, Misery Chastain. So the nurse fractures his feet so he can't escape and forces him to rewrite the last novel so that he doesn't kill off the character. And while this is going on, the local sheriff and the agent are attempting to track down the missing author. And it was a great movie. It was an awesome movie. Kathy Bates, she won an award for it. Wonderful. So again, the person that I would like to speak to would be Stephen King.